Hi, I'm Dale Bowman and welcome to Get Published TV. This is the only dedicated show on the internet to help authors and aspiring authors to write, publish and market their own best-selling books in 8 minutes a day. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about a real-life example that happened 3 days ago, in fact, of a presentation that I gave and talking about some real numbers of sales that I made for my books. Because one of the things that you'll soon discover if you haven't written a book, when you do discover a book, you'll understand that one of the biggest reasons to write a book is it increases your income earning potential. So if you're an author, all of a sudden you can actually charge more for the things that you're actually doing. So if you are a tennis coach and you're now a published author, you have a book about tennis or how to become a better tennis player, then you can actually start to charge more because now you're actually putting yourself in a different league. You sort of start to get the expert status, or as someone that I've learned from, Paul Hartunian, calls it the halo effect, and that's a really good way of looking at it. People start to see you differently when you actually write and publish a book, and it helps you to increase your income. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to talk about more in a future episode is how I don't want you to just think of your book as just a book as well. I want you to think about your book as a body of information, and you can actually get that information out there to people in a variety of different ways. And in a future episode, I'll list probably close to 20, maybe, or even 30 different let's call it income streams or revenue models from just one book. So that's going to be really exciting. We'll talk about that later. Now, one of those areas is in relation to public speaking. So you can actually you can respond to opportunities that come up. You can either just respond to them, or you can go out there and pursue them to find audiences where you can talk about your books. You can talk about your information. You can talk about whatever it is that you're really passionate about. Now, for me, I kind of don't at this stage go out there actively pursuing a lot of speaking opportunities. But if someone calls me up and says, Dale, we'd like to book you as a speaker, then I normally say, yeah, that's fine. And I have an upfront speaker's fee that people normally pay me. And also I sell my books at the end of the seminar. Now, I've had some amazing success with this and doing sales in excess of $10,000 at a single event just in book sales, which has been very significant. But I don't want to talk about those numbers. I'm going to give you a real life example. This is not certainly the best example that I've got to share with you, but it's a real life example, as I was sharing before, from just 3 days ago. So here's the deal. Now, normally when someone actually asks me to speak, my commercial rates would be $5,000 for a keynote presentation. That would be anywhere between 45 minutes up to about an hour and a half. And I don't get a huge amount of those, again, because I'm not really pursuing them. I'm not registered with any speakers bureaus. I probably should do all of those things. But for me, I don't want to be on a plane every second or third day like some other speakers. So therefore, I've chosen not to pursue them. But when they come up, that's my fee. And I do maybe one or maybe two a month. So it's not huge, but it's still pretty good. But this opportunity that came up just recently was for a friend of mine. So what I did is actually reduced my rate because it was basically a favor to this friend of mine. So I agreed to speak for $2,000. Okay, now for some people you may think, wow, that's a whole lot of money. And for other people you might be saying, well, look, I'm already a speaker and I get paid a lot more than that, and that's fine. And I congratulate you for that. But just stay with me for this example here. So I spoke for about an hour and 20 minutes and was paid a $2,000 speaker's fee. But then I actually, at the end of the presentation, was able to sell my books. And what I have to show you right now, and again, this is just like real proof. I want to show you real life examples of everything that I'm doing, because a lot of people kind of talk about the theory of stuff, but they don't actually, you don't really know what to believe and what not to believe. But here we've got all of the order forms from people that filled out forms, and these are all the stubs, having processed the credit cards this morning, and having just done the numbers of all these forms that I'm holding in my hands, we have, I wrote it on my hand this morning so I didn't forget, $2,447.50 worth of sales. So if I can just write it up here, the speaker's fee was $2,000, and $2,000 $447 in additional book sales. So let's just check out how my maths is. So you're looking at just under $4,500. So, it's a pretty good effort. Now, I want you to know as well is this is the gross income, of course. Some people just say, oh, I made $4,500. Wouldn't that be nice? However, I want to show you the reality of it and really show you the real numbers, because there was taxis to and from the airport because they had to travel. They paid for the flight, but there's certainly transfer fees that I fixed up. There's also the cost of the actual books. So there's printing costs as well. There's also cost of delivery, costs of warehousing those books. There's costs of staff member who I'm going to give these to actually put all of these orders together and then to send them out. So it's probably a half day's worth of work that needs to be done here. So basically, I want to kind of point out that there's at least around about $447 worth of expenses, worth of hard costs in actually, getting those books out there and fulfilling those particular orders. So if we really look at it realistically, then we need to cut that back by at least a third, and depending on what stage you're at, then you may even need to cut it back by half. But still, even if I was being ultra conservative here and saying that there was $1,000 worth of additional expenses, then a fee or in profit of $3,500 for a single presentation. It took me maybe I was up on stage for an hour and 25 minutes, but all up it was probably with planes and everything about a half a day of my time. That is pretty good. So I want to just stress to authors that are watching these videos, or maybe future authors, of how exciting it is to be able to earn additional income in other ways. So certainly there's the book income, but there's also income that can come in as well from other opportunities such as speaking engagements. Now, you may have heard a little baby voice that is there in the background. My son Finnegan has just come into the office. So did you want to come up and say hello to the people watching the video? Oh, here we go. This is my son Finnegan. He's now 18 months old. So he just had his 18-month-old birthday. And he's now getting a little bit camera shy, so he's probably trying to get down. But can you say hello? Can you say hello? There we go. All right, go to mummy. Go to mummy. All right, so having just done this video now, I just kind of really need to wrap up. How are we going for time back there? Okay?
Perfect.
All right.
10 seconds.
All right, 10 seconds go. Well, let me just quickly say, this topic area, there's a number of different points that I want to talk about in future episodes. So, because what I'm talking to you right now, it lends itself to going into a number of different areas. One is about how do you get the confidence to speak from stage. That's a whole video that we'll be doing in the future. Another one is about how do you actually get these presentations? Where do you actually, find them? So we'll be talking about some strategies to actually attract presentations. We'll also be talking about how to actually design a presentation. If you're an author, then what are the things you should talk about? What are the things that you shouldn't talk about? We're also going to talk about that time at the end, because some people, may think that all I did was selling my books, and I only had 5 minutes just at the end of my hour and 25 minutes, and I just spoke about my books, and that generated all the sales. And by the way as well, some people may be thinking, well, you probably had 500 or 1,000 people in the audience in order to do those numbers. The reality is there was only about 60 people in the audience. Now, the reason why I was able to do those numbers is because I don't just have one book. I actually have, as you may have heard, 16 different books. So by having multiple books, that help to increase the average dollar sale. But even if you've only published one book before, I'm going to show you some strategies in the future of how you can increase your average dollar sale by 2, 3, 4, even 5 times, even if you only have one book. So make sure that you keep watching all of these videos as well about how to increase your average dollar sale. So there's going to be lots more exciting information coming up your way. I just wanted to show you this real life example that just happened a couple of days ago to show you it is possible to create a whole separate income stream, and for some people you'll actually make just as much money from your additional businesses, your offshoots from your book, as you will from actually writing your book. And being a speaker is just one of many ways that you can dramatically increase your income as an author. that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching Get Published TV.